I think the number one thing we have to do is not only just encrypt, but control the encryption. So we talked about that most solutions today claim to offer encryption, but often it's not end-to-end, meaning that it's encrypted from the time it leaves your data center or even in your data center, crossing the wire, and then encrypted at the other end. What we also see is that the encryption process can often add latency, which impacts performance. And probably most importantly, probably the number one thing that I see, and Simon, I'm going to bring you back in on this one, is the provider actually owns the keys. And I guess there's pros and cons to that. What's the challenge? What should people know about key ownership and whether or not they should own the keys?
Key ownership is a very extremely important topic today that most enterprise companies cope with. Especially when you go on shared services where they manage the keys for you. In some way, if you go with this method, you're relinquishing a lot of control, and you're handing over the car keys and letting somebody else drive. For some organizations, this may be a good way to go, but of course, they are under some risk, right? Essentially, the service provider today, it's all software. They can impersonate and to legitimate user access. They can be forced by the government or certain rules to hand over your company's information for specific inspections and processes that they need to run on that data without even letting you know. The other end is that you may want to control, or let's say there's a middle ground, right, of what we call hardware security modules, is where you would manage your encryption keys and keep them privately in your data centers, and make sure that all data encrypted on your public service will be encrypted using those keys, and you are the only owner that can decrypt them. So you're not under that same risk of them handing over your data to a third party.